All right, so since we already on the Kardashian bandwagon, let's talk about Brucella Jenner and the fact that this happened out here praising Donald Trump for signing an executive order banning trans athletes from women's sports, which I don't understand. Why is this a big deal that people are focusing on that when trans athletes, you want to know how many in total that are trans people that are doing any kind of athletic sports? And this is their main focus. They're making it seem like it's like 100,000 or maybe a million. No, five. Literally, you can count on one hand how many trans people are out here actually in doing athletic sports and things of that nature. This is what we're focusing on. While we have this moron in chief literally dismantling, taking a full-fledged wrecking ball to our democracy and our government in a matter of 2 weeks. Over 100 years of work that they've put into turning America into what it is today, dismantled in 2 weeks. All because of him and apartheid Clyde. Letting them just try to figure out, how to destroy everything out here. And we got this man looking bitch. Yeah, I'm gonna read her down to the floor. And those people who have a problem with me misgendering this bitch, y'all can go and suck my ass. Kindly fuck off. Because here's the thing. I don't give people who have it out for their own community and try to throw their own people under the bus for a moment in the spotlight or maybe a couple of coins or some type of acceptance because they're a masochist in some sort of way. I'm not gendering you correctly. You getting exactly the drag that your ass deserves. And what pisses me off in regards to this, I hear people who go and say, well, if you misgender Caitlyn, then that gives other people permission to misgender. When have ignorant people ever needed permission to not be a bigot? I'll wait. When have somebody who don't like black people ever felt the need to not call somebody the N-word? When have people who are homophobic or transphobic ever needed a reason to misgender someone or call them Roswell Granny? Nancy Mace's ugly ass recently was out here doing that in Congress and was called out over it. And they made excuses for it. So if a bigot is going to bigot, excuse me, they don't need permission from us to say what they're going to say. They're going to say it regardless. So stop with all that pompous bullshit when they come out and say that. So basically, the ban is designed, for those who have not been keeping up, is designed to keep men out of women's sports, with Trump signing the order on Wednesday to coincide with National Girls and Women in Sports Day, and had the absolute nerve, and this is why shame on y'all, had him surrounded by children while he was signing the thing, and then held it up like he reading My Pet Goat. Oh wait, no, that was George W. Bush, but he was reading something. But like he's reading a children's book to the class and holding it up after he was reading, the finished reading the page. So the executive order is the latest in a litany of anti-trans policies invoked by Trump, which includes declaring that the U.S. will only recognize two sexes, banning trans people from serving in the military, and restricting gender-affirming health care for trans people under 19, which we showed the other day that Cynthia Nixon was out here protesting in New York because there were two youths that were going to get a hormone blocking implant put in their body, and their appointments were canceled. And the doctor was saying, well, maybe y'all should try other places like in Pennsylvania or somewhere else because they're not doing it. But then we had Letitia James, shout out to her, because she was there every day during Trump's trial in New York, his felony trials, which he was convicted of, by the way, but still allowed to run for fucking president and win. I do not understand our government in regards to that and our laws. It kind of makes it seem like the court of law is a joke. Because if you have a couple of millions of dollars, you too can get away with any kind of crime. Over 84 counts, I guess. So when you're saying two sexes, did you forget that there's people out here who are intersex? There's other things. There's non-binary. You're only going by, oh yeah, it's just male and female. Who are you to determine what someone's gender is? And basically, I don't understand how Caitlyn is jumping on this thing because they don't even see your ass as human. But I guess because you too have a lot of money and you, Brucella, have benefited from being an athlete as a man, and that as you transition looking like a busted version of Jessica Lange. You look like a cross between Mrs. Doubtfire and J.K. Rowling. Now all of a sudden, you anti, you know, anybody else trying to get a leg up because you weren't allowed to be your true self when you were coming up as an athlete. So you mad. That's what this gives. This gives that you are pissed because during your day, you were not allowed to live your authentic truth, live in your truth, live in your authentic self as an athlete. So you don't want anybody else to have that. And that's what a lot of this gives, not just from you, but from a lot of people. They want to dismantle everything. Because this is what this administration is doing. You want to dismantle everything and tell them, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. But if there's nothing there to pull yourself up from, how the fuck are people going to pull themselves up by a bootstrap? So that just doesn't, that mentality doesn't make sense. And you know me, I'm a critical thinker. So you see through the bullshit. And I see through all the mess. A lot of people are so blinded by their phobias or whatever the case is, they don't see what's happening in front of them until it's too late. Which is why I was cackling when you had them Arabs for Trump, because it was about, oh, Kamala Harris, this and that and the other. And don't get me wrong, I read the Democrats on their whole Zionism and what they were doing over in Gaza, but you don't think Trump was going to be 10 times worse? And now they're feeling it. And now they're upset. I'm like, you voted. That's who you chose. Deal with the consequences. I don't feel no ways tied. So now y'all want sympathy and empathy. I just cackle when people are just like the gluttons for punishment, the fuck around and find out types. And this is what y'all giving. So I think I'm kind of done with my reading. You want to talk about reading? Let's talk about reading. So this bitch went over on Twitter and wrote the following. She said, wait, hold on, because I was like, let me, do we care enough to go to it? No, I'll just read it. Another victory in the fight for protecting women's sports. President Trump signs an executive order keeping biological men out of women's sports. As an Olympian, I will continue to fight this issue, lobbying sport governing body all over the world to follow our lead. Well, why can't you just focus on what's going on here? Why are you trying to tell other people in other countries? Oh, I forgot. That's what colonizers do. You know, we have a habit of asserting ourselves in things around in other nations that have nothing to do with us. I forgot this is what we do. So the people got in the comments and read her down to the floor. I mean, she did get a lot of support, but of course she got shade. And we got to read the shade. But hold on, let me go to this other, busted picture. Child, why she giving linebacker tees with that top on? You literally giving me Mrs. Doubtfire right now. Hello! Now they said, Trump has pretty much said that you are not real, that you are a demented pervert and don't exist. Yet you continue to support him. As for trans athletes, 5 out of 500,000 NCAA athletes are trans. Didn't I tell y'all it was 5 people? And I didn't read this article. That's because I actually pay attention to what's going on. They said literally it was 5 people who are trans that are in sports. This is what they're focusing on, though. 5 fucking people out of the amount of people that's being athletes in sports. Y'all writing a bill for 5 people? This is what we getting worked up over? When there's way more bigger fish to fry? This country is literally about to be burned to ash, but y'all worrying about trans people partaking in sports. This is your concern. Okay. This goes to show where a lot of y'all priorities are. Now, another person wrote, so by Trump banning trans athletes from participating in the Olympics, maybe you should surrender your Olympic medals. How do you feel about that now? Well, she got the medals as Bruce. So she ain't giving those up. She was like, technically, I was the other gender. The gender I didn't feel like I was comfortable as. But now that I'm a full-fledged woman, a phenomenal woman is me, I'm going to keep my medals. But, bitch, it says Bruce on them. It don't say Caitlyn. So you constantly reminded of who you were. When you look at the medals, if you got them hanging around your house in Calabasas. Now, a third person made a meme using a picture of Jenner with the text over the top, encouraging people to tell Jenner that turning their back on the community is not going to get her accepted in the far-right Republican community. And this is what I said. That self-hate is one mother father. That self-hate that y'all be feeling, where y'all just literally will throw yourselves into the wolves just so y'all can get that acceptance. Her big ass head ass having Vivek and all of them types, them pick me tap dancing heifers that will sit up there and tap dance for that approval. They don't like you. They barely tolerating you. It's all an act. But this is what they want. I can't stand being around fake ass people. Like, I could care less of people like me. A fourth criticized how Jenner has spent years licking the boots of a party that doesn't care about her as a trans woman. They said to them, she's just another man in a dress. Did not say she looked like Miss Doubtfire. Maybe now she'll realize that cozying up the conservatives doesn't buy her a seat at the table. It just gets her kicked out of their restroom. Well, if she hobnobbing with Nancy Mace, which I have a feeling that when she was up in there in the situation, they probably didn't kick her out of the bathroom. They probably let her use whatever bathroom she wanted to use because Jenner's one of them. And this doesn't affect her. She gets to sit on her millions. While trans people who aren't afforded the ability and the opportunities that she has to suffer because they can't be themselves because we have a government that wants to interfere with people's personal business and personal affairs. So this isn't the first time she's been hauled over the coals for her support of the divisive president. In January, she declared that she was just as happy, actually more happy than the first time, to be celebrating the inauguration of President Trump, which we talked about on the show, and I read her down to the floor then. The video is up on the YouTube. You can go and watch it if you want another cackle. Her post was mocked by those who couldn't believe she supported a man who, as one person put it, literally announced that you don't exist. One person wrote on social media, "Were you in the front row for that? I don't understand how you can support an office that is trying to alienate you from society." Another asked, "He just publicly said you were not accepted. How do you feel about him now?" She don't care. I told her this is not going to affect her because Caitlyn gets to go back to her lovely home in the hills and live her best life with all that glass and on her millions. And gets and is not going to be affected by a lot of the laws because she could probably fly over to wherever to get her moans and get whatever she need to keep up appearance, and she still look a mess. She still look like a damn linebacker in a dress and a wig. So you can go over there and get your stuff to keep trying to prettify that mess that we looking at, looking like a damn She-Hulk, and that's, I guess, what it is. So I say all this to say, because I'm done reading this bitch down to the floor, but I'm sure there's going to be another story coming up. I'm going to drag her again. And I'm happy to do it because I can't stand that hoe. So what do you guys think of this story about Caitlyn pick-me-ass jumping on this whole anti-trans bandwagon continuously? Maybe she'll go out to lunch with J.K. Rowling. Let's see how, jaw to jaw, how they cohabitate. Or I should say strong jaw to strong jaw. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below.